We'll probably see with this second rotation for them the Probius pick. I have to guess, right? I mean, instead of the Zeratul they prioritized when they had first pick, they're not going to have that this time, and Global is going to be very important. They might look for the Falstad and or Dahaka with the Probius. I think that would be a pretty smart way to draft this if they want to run that again. And it just feels like with how well it's worked for them both times, they're going to do it again, or it will be banned, as we saw it was banned against them the last time they tried it. So see what Mighty has up their sleeves, what sort of research and preparation they've done for this one. See if they're prepared for that Probius pick. Maybe they have practiced Probius themselves, as we saw actually Sake play it on this map. So
yep, that's right. Probius will be the hot topic, and also the double globals of Falstad and Dahaka, along with Zeratul. Both teams will actually try to take all 4 of them, including Probius. So let's see which team takes which. It's going to be Mighty first ban. Insta ban on that Zeratul.
Tempest is going to ban out the Falstad.
They don't mind giving up the Haka because they have Probius to counter that global with that wave pressure.
Yeah, if they drafted, that is, you know. And the Mighty having this removed, they may look to the Dahaka. Could also be our first Bala draft, but not going to happen. They'll take Dahaka instead. This leaves Tempest with probably a safe rotation. I don't think they're going to grab Probius here. Maybe the Tychus and ETC. So locking up some damage with the Tychus. The ETC could be a semi-global, but we really just don't think so with how it's been going. This is Mighty's chance in the second ban phase to ban out the Tyrael. I think that's definitely what they're going to consider to do. As for here, now they could just grab the Malfurion, so that's always a nice pickup, with Tempest letting that through. Interesting that Tempest usually gives Hyde the Carzim, and it's going to be like one of the first times in this entire tournament, if not the first time, where Carzim is highly prioritized than the Malfurion, which is kind of an interesting choice. I was going to go down this line of thinking of Mighty's was probably going to take Malfurion, and Tempest is totally okay with that. Feels like Hyde doesn't really like Malfurion that much right now, and now he's probably forced to play it. It's not like a bad hero or anything like that. Like, he's quite good on the Malfurion, but interesting that even Mighty kind of considers this thought as well. It takes the Carzim away.
I think they've hit the nail. That Carzim has a lot of damage as the game progresses. With the 100 Fist, they're not even doing Cleansing Touch anymore. We saw some bans on Carzim, but not of pick over Malfurion at all. I think you're right on the first.
And just to put this into stats, I think Hyde is the only player who has more games played in his top hero with Carzim, more than Malfurion. Every other support, just looking at all my stats, is Carzim at top, and oh my god.
What just happened here?
I'm speechless. Well, they just didn't lock in time.
I'm pretty sure that it was not intended, as
No,
we saw the
definitely
face
not.
of Sign kind of surprised off the fact that
It was definitely not
they
intended.
just give out the ban.
Well, it's in the official rules, actually, if you don't ban in time, you lose it. So that is precisely what happened. So
Who's the captain?
we're not having a redraft here. This is actually completely lost ban. This may be the first time in HGC history, but there you have it. So we use the in-game draft, and that happens. Malfurion is banned away by Mighty. So Tempest is going to have to look towards the Lucio pick potentially here. And help them with rotations. If we're going to see Probius, this is where we're going to see it in the draft. They don't have a global, though, to use with him.
But still, I don't think Tempest was ready for this support choke into Hyde, where they have to be forced using. So it's going to be instead Uther.
Ooh, Uther and Tyrael. This could be. It's definitely not going to be a Probius draft anymore. I don't think. This is going to be like a gray main finisher.
They need more burst damage. They need to get some kills.
Could even be a Thrall. Would be like really strong in this situation. I'm looking towards a big melee here. Illidan is not out of the question, so it would be a strong soul laner for them.
If Genji is available, I think Genji would be that perfect fit at the very end with that Divine Shield, Sanctification, and Mosh and Tychus for the extra damage. Genji would be the perfect pick, but not yet.
Imagine a Dragon Blade with a 3-man Mosh, for example.
Or even like X-Strike on multiple targets. On that Mosh, it would be perfect.
Oh my god. You're putting amazing thoughts into my head.
I love Genji. But Mighty.
So Mighty now is looking for a second damage and their main tank. It's probably going to be the Muradin again. And their secondary damage will be the Nazeebo, most likely. Oh, going to be Sergeant Hammer instead, actually. So no Nazeebo.
Well, they felt the pressure coming out from ETC of Tempest and also Tychus having a lot of damage, and they got lots of picks off onto Nazeebo. Maybe this time they're thinking of skipping it instead.
So we thought maybe it would be a Probius comp. It's not going to be. I think we're looking for a melee here.
Very unlikely.
It's possible they really just throw a wrench in the gears, do something weird here, and take a second damage to try to Probius. But I think it's most likely going to be the gray main pick. He's got good poke, and then the ability to dive in with so much support. Can do a lot if they get a good mosh pit as well, and there's so many ways for that to happen with the Divine Shield. You'll have to Divine Shield the gray main. If you Divine Shield the ETC and he gets a 3-man mosh, you win the fight anyways. Giving some thought to something else though. What's it going to be? Jaina! Did not expect this one. Okay.
This is a practice comp. I can see that coming.
Well, we saw a lot of Jaina in the past with the Uther together. Because Uther was the top tier support and Jaina was the top damage. We saw it a lot by MVP Black and MVP Sky as well back in the day in 2015. That was 2 years ago. No Void Prison to combo with Ring of Frost. This is just going to be Jaina as a ranged mage here. We'll see who plays it. Probably going to be Duck Duck as we move into game number 3 here on Sky Temple. Alright, so it is actually Duck Duck on the Jaina. Hyde on Uther. Lockdown will be on the Tychus. Kind of a role swap. This is normally Duck Duck's. Sign on ETC and Modern Life on that Tyrael.
And in red, Mighty. Joker on Muradin. Sands on Dehaka. Magi on Sergeant Hammer. Nasang on Karazim. And SDE on Li Ming.
Well,
I think they really hit their head. They even lost the ban.
Yeah,
because they banned out. They took Karazim and banned out Malfuri in there. That's a very refreshing way of drafting.
Refreshing way. That's a nice way to put it. Yeah, it's the next level strat. Skip the ban phase and pick Jaina.
I don't want to spoil it yet, but I know I heard some info on what Tempest is trying to do with this team comp. That's exactly why they brought out Jaina. This is one of their secret tactics. I'm pretty sure they wanted to bring this out in playoff, but let's see if it works or not.
Okay. I will. I don't know what the secret tactic is. I don't know the secret info that you have, but see if it unfolds here. See if I can figure it out.
Well, even if you know, it's gonna be pretty tough. I'll just let everyone know it's going to be Ring of Frost and then Tyrael going in with the Holy Ground right in the middle and just splitting everyone apart into that ring so everyone is hit. But it's actually pretty hard to pull that off in the game.
Well,
but I've heard they've been practicing that exact thing, so let's see if...
That's a really interesting concept. Obviously, it's one of those things where when I hear you say this, it feels like one of those things like, wow, if it works, that's amazing.
Yes,
but
it is.
Easier said than done, though. Lockdown's actually going to get picked here as SDE will get away.
with that reset, going to get extra teleport.
We talked a lot about SDE's Nazebo and how good he is at positioning and how careful of a Nazebo he is and how consistent he is in damage, especially in the late game. But we didn't really, because he's been playing so much Nazebo, we haven't really talked about his Li Ming at all. His Li Ming is his most played hero, along with Tychus. Those are the two heroes he plays more than anything else. Before the Nazebo meta, that was all he was running. And he's very experienced on the hero. And it'd be terrifying if he gets resets in these fights. If something goes wrong, because Jaina doesn't really have any escapes, she's very squishy. Doesn't have that ice block at level 13 like she did back in 2015. So, very scary if she gets caught and Li Ming gets a pick, say with a Dahaka Brushtalk in or a Muradin Stormbolt.
Also
that could be all she wrote.
Very interesting choice of just putting Dahaka, and also Tempest is going to have Duck Duck on the bottom lane this entire time, as they are having 2-2 contesting for the temple. Instead, I would like just try to finish one first for Mighty side, and then try to join in with the other temple. And when Dahaka has that Brush Stalker available, but instead it's the other way. They just finish off the temple phase as soon as possible, and then have the rotation of Dahaka up to the top lane, because the second temple phase, of course, will be at the bottom.
Yeah, Jaina has really good wave clear. With her Blizzard.
Yeah, and lots of burst damage.
That's the idea with Jaina, is she is the burstiest of burst mages. You thought Kel'Thas was bursty, but she has to flank. That's going to be the key with Jaina, is always come at an angle where your opponents don't expect it. We are going to see Frost Armor, actually, for Jaina, so it's going to give her a little bit of extra protection. And anyone who attacks her gets chilled. So the chill is Jaina's passive. I know some people have probably never even seen this hero before. Some people watch esports and don't play the game, but her trait is she gives chill to everything that her spells hit, and then anything that's chilled will take extra damage. So Frost Armor makes it so anyone who hits her is chilled. It also slows them very slightly as well.
Exactly.
So whoever attacks her gets slowed and will take more damage. So she doesn't, her first spell isn't going to do more than it normally would if she gets hit first. Hyde's actually going to get caught here. They're going to commit to the rotation down, and this is going to be one reset for SDE, but with the heals coming out, he keeps Sign alive.
But will find himself in the dead zone.
That was a big commitment, though, and so now they're missing Soak in 2 lanes. So this actually, I think, ends up being a kind of a win for Tempest in terms of EXP. Knocking Magi out of range of the grenade, at least attempting to. He's barely still in range. That was kind of cool of an idea from Lockdown.
Take a close look at the minimap and how Dahaka will be rotating up and down, as Sans, yesterday against Miracle, he had a beautiful rotation, just soaking up all the EXP. As a Dahaka player, you should, that is the literal textbook play of Dahaka.
So we didn't see, we saw a hesitation on Uther at level 4 and at 7 as to why he was going to pick. He decides to go with Cleanse at 7 instead of the armor for stuns, which I think is better in this case to get for Jaina. It did go for the movement speed on the E for his Hammer of Justice. Definitely give some other thoughts there. Hold that thought, though. Speaking of which, his Joker is going to get caught by the Hammer of Justice, and he will go down. Can Duck Duck and Lockdown escape? That is the question. Magi gets the last auto there. Will he get the one more onto Jaina? He does. So they turn this fight around. Now, all the DPS is gone for Mighty. Sign is trying to do what he can. Does he have enough damage with the heals coming out? It looks like no, he does not. And now Hyde is in trouble. SDE got a little bit of heals there.
All those dominants coming back with HP.
Oh my god! Magi is trying to push the envelope here. Almost got the kill.
They know Uther. With Uther, he can't be as aggressive as Karazim play. And it seems like that's also working in favor of Mighty, as they themselves have Karazim right now.
Removing both DPS in the fight like that makes it so difficult. Now they're going to win the temple. They're going to get 10. Lockdown is split pushing the top right now, so they can get that 10. Goes for the range minions first. Clear that even faster. This boss, something that Tempest can't deny without 10. They don't have that amazing boss control they're going to have once they do get hit 10 with Sanctification. Looks like they're going to come over and try for it anyways. They're about to hit 10. They might get it just from the EXP tick in the middle of the fight, and there it is. Looks like Mighty's just going to have to let this go, but they've already damaged it so much. I don't know if they can just walk away here. It's going to be Ring of Frost. Not the water elemental here, even without the Void Prisons, for what you were talking about with the Holy Ground later on.
There's a wave of force to cancel on to that Mosh, but Tempest has more zoning too, I believe. There's a Sanctification used on that boss. Morden is standing on top where there's Grace Ring of Frost, and Palm does connect at the very end.
Okay, Modern Life here is holding strong on this as long as he can. He's now going to die. Going to take Joker with him, it looks like. Magi trying to get on this point. They just have too much. There's more consistent DPS, and when you look at this, how this fight happened, it's all about the fact that Uther's heals are burst, but Magi just does so much consistent damage over time. And they have obviously the Li Ming to help out with that as well, and she got all those, I mean, that fight exploded once she got the resets there, but it's about Magi's just overall consistent damage, and Uther can burst heal what Li Ming does with her combo, but not when she's doing it multiple times when the resets come in, and Magi was just doing so much.
Exactly. Tempest is all about the burst, all about Sanctification, and one big Mosh, and all-in burst damage with the heals coming out from Uther. When Mighty has a lot more chances, not just the burst, but...
There's a burst for you.
They do go aggressive sometimes and get those picked up, and looks like Magi is on that. He was on Kerrigan before also. Really aggressive plays coming out from Magi today.
Yeah. So, level 13 around the corner for Mighty. They are super close to solidifying their talent tier advantage. It's going to be the double temple here. Magi will respawn, so Mighty is going to be able to obviously group up for a fight. Dahaka can split push during this time, which is why Tempest is actually going to go for the top temple. Looked like they were. Perhaps some indecisiveness here as they rotate down now to the bot. So, kind of annoying. Dahaka can solo temple so well, so you can actually leave him up there and contest and then have him come down for a fight, especially when you're up a talent tier like this, but it feels like Mighty was a little bit slow in that regard.
Actually went...
They want to get a pick here.
All the way down already as they have the... This will be a little bit tough to get a kill.
Yeah.
As Karazim is still standing on that top temple.
And Tempest is accomplishing more with this push in the bot lane. So, very well played by Tempest here. Actually going to even up the talent tiers.
For now, but Mighty's push on top, this is quite fearsome.
Yeah, Dana can come back and help deal with this. Well, looks like they're just going to use Tychus instead.
Let's see, Tempest, we talked about what they wanted to do. They have the theme, they have the burst. They only need it once. If they are able to get that once, it will basically be a very close to team fight, very one-sided team fight. So after that, they will take the advantage and level up right after. But Mighty, they have a lot of chances to stop that from happening. They have Wave of Force, they have the Palm to save anyone who's going to die.
By the way, I didn't even recognize the icon. Divine Storm is the choice here, not the Divine Shield. And
they are literally going all in here.
I was looking at it, I was like, wait, what is that on my screen?
Like I thought you were
I don't know
talking
that
about
talent. I'm like, wait, that's
met.
not a talent, that's a heroic, like, well met indeed, but...
It's Storm. I believe it is the first time in Korea. We've seen it in NA a few times.
Yeah. Sif not used here, but we'll see if they can make this work. It's going to be really nice later on with Redemption as well and late game team fights if he doesn't upgrade it, which is something that I didn't even really think about because we never used to the heroic at all. So this is going to be a forward push. They do knock this down. The bot push, though, is so far away from them now as they don't have any globals to go down there and deal with that, but they will be able to deal with it before it does any critical damage.
Oh
the scary thing is that Mighty is actually going to try to stop them from doing this and cut them off.
So it's going to be everything in circles. Sanctification, Mosh, Ring of Frost, and Storm. Once you're just in that circle, you are done. There is no way of surviving there.
Once Tychus gets his nuke going off too, is going to be going in there in the circle as well. When these guys are
That's a very good name. That's teamwork there.
Ooh, Modern Life is actually really aggressively positioned in lane. I think this might be the pick this time. They're going to wait for his Aldruins. Actually has to do it eventually. There's the stun. This bought a lot of time for the rest of Tempest to rotate up, but still a very good trade for Mighty.
ST hitting almost every single skill shot of the missiles too. So they will need to back a little bit and even tap onto the fountain.
So 5 seconds to go on this temple phase. Tempest wanted to hit it with level 16. They're going to clear this wave to try to do that. Obviously can clear it immediately with Jaina. They're going to have that 16, but the temple has already started here by Nasong. Knows position of Mighty. They actually have the they have Magi in position to help cut everyone off when they do come onto this watchtower. Tempest is forced to take the left path through the minions. Just so far, it's been a big poke war for Mighty. They are winning. Duck is going to have to look for the flank. He wants to stay mounted right until he can get into a perfect position to use his combo. Still mounted, actually quite important. Just going to start poking now. And they do regain control of the shrine. Mighty is not confident enough to engage with Divine Storm and Ring of Frost. Without the Dahaka, they're going to use the Brush Stock to come in. If they want to get the last shots, they're going to have to do it soon. Looks like they're just not interested.
But they don't even have to fight. They have the extra soak of Dahaka from the bottom lane. They can go for that 20 a little bit earlier than Tempest. They already shot a lot of the tempo shots on the top, so they can make their rotations work with the global, try to hit 20 first, and then try to win game with 20.
This keep is going to be threatened a little bit by this Merc push, so they can use that pressure to try to take the boss at the same time, because it's going to be on the opposite side of the map of the Siege Giant push. Notice right now you can already see Jokers moving over to check to see if Tempest has started this. They have not. So this is going to be a really tense moment. There's so much boss control for Tempest now that they have 16, they have Holy Ground. And obviously the Divine Storm is going to be really huge in the big team fight. So Mighty is looking to take this boss with the pressure, but this might be their opportunity. Jane is actually in the top lane. They're looking to get a pick on her instead. They're rotating over now. There's the grab. That's so huge. That's exactly what they want. Nasong is going to go in. Duck has the heals. He has to Ring of Frost early. And that is a big problem. Duck is so low right now.
Very close. Great juke
Divine
there.
Storm, not helpful here.
Ugh, what an ugly fight there for Tempest. They had to use both heroics, just use at the very end, just for...
Well, this is going to be a keep, and they can rotate back to boss, forcing out Odin to be used as well. Duck survives, so that's really important for the wave clear. They just don't have any heals. They only have the shields from Tyrael in this team fight. Looks like they will keep the keep alive, which is actually huge. That was almost free. But Mighty did not pull the trigger. They want to back off and play it safe. The top tempo will kill that keep very quickly. Looks like Tempest wants to move towards the boss right now. Uther is going to respawn in 5 seconds. And the spot pressure is really annoying for Mighty to deal with. Will they try to boss here? Tempest is playing with fire. That concept alone is terrifying to think about bossing here without Uther. He's coming down now. Top Temple will get this with Dahaka. There's nothing they could do about that. Now going to start working on the mid-keep wall. And, you know, once the top temple is done, Dahaka can continue to push and start to set up for the catapults to hit the core.
All they need is a good setup. Just one good setup, and by this slate of time in the game, if they win team fight, I think they can get 2 keeps at least, or even with the boss, try to take the game. So Mighty, knowing that they are trying to just out-rotate with that global presence of Dahaka having on top, even taking this camp now, even going to make the top pressure real, so Tempest is knowing that they're going for the boss right away.
Okay, Tempest is setting up for this.
I think Mighty can come back at the exact timing, or they're not even going to, they're going all straight to the keep.
Oh, they're going to get a keep for this for sure. The bot keep wall is down. In fact, the keep is damaged. But, you know, the interesting thing for Mighty is this is going to get them 20. And they could just defend the boss as a 5-man. Ooh, Nasong actually misses the Hearth. This is kind of a problem. There you go. Tip for you players who have a Karzim on your team. Go back to him. He will be able to dash you. Don't leave him for dead. They have a lot of damage to clear this. They're going to have double catapult pressure. They have the split push of Dahaka. And they just basically said, there's no way for us to stop your boss tick because you have Ring of Frost, you have Divine Storm, Sanctification. I'm not even going to try to.
That's exactly why Tempest left that temple.
Yeah.
They want to force the fight into small zone, but Dahaka already here. I think they just have to give up the last shots.
Yeah, they will. So this is not going to get them the last keep, but they have this Siege Giant pressure. Actually, might even get both here because they see Jaina in the top lane.
They've released some of the pressures on the top lane and the mid lane.
It's going to cost them these Giants, I feel. They are going to rotate in to try to protect this. It's actually a really risky fight for Mighty, even with 20, because of all the control here.
That is what they want. There's
Sank.
the Ring of Frost misses on the ground.
Okay, Storm Shield coming off here. Divine Storm already used in this fight. It's not enough. Tyrael is dead. Sign's going to try to retreat here. This may just be game over. Mighty was able to take this fight despite all the zone control in that small area. Look at this. This Siege Giant push is going to help knock down this keep.
Even the catapults are coming in the mid lane.
That's right. They have a lot of wave clear to deal with these Giants, but they're so safely positioned now at the back that Jaden can't really drop down another Blizzard. And Magi is just doing so much damage. This Tempest still doesn't have 20. They're actually going to go mid to try to relieve some of this pressure. But the top pressure is coming. I mean, this may just be lights out. Even just Tyrael alone being dead is almost game over. Mighty does not want to risk it, though. I feel like it may even be riskier to not commit here to try to get picks, because now this is a game they could still lose, but I think playing it super safe.
Yeah, Tempest had, if win one more extra wave, they had their chances of taking 20, and Mighty, knowing that the core was going to be a little questionable, it was going to be a little tough, and knowing that there is Mosh still available for Tempest. Actually, lots of other heroes still on cooldown. Maybe Mighty just went for a little bit extra safety.
So keep in mind too, for Tempest now at 20, their big power spike is going to be the improved ice block for Jaina. She could use it on such a short cooldown. So she basically kind of has her own invulnerability, which will give chill to the enemies around her. Because Jaina has no chill for them. And that's something that is going to make Duck able to position a lot more aggressively without fear of being killed. There's no silence on the side of Mighty, only the stun.
Tempest has the pressure of all the way to the core, and they have to keep this tempo, because this tempo will do direct shots right into the core.
They need to win the fight, but they can't do it without Jaina. This just may be too much. I mean, there's just the cards are so stacked against Tempest right now. Okay, they're going to try to take this fight here. The Mosh coming in with the Divine Storm. Massive stuns. This is what Tempest needs. They need this fight. You'll see the Odin does go off for a lockdown here before he dies. He's going to put off a ton of extra damage.
They were missing Jaina this entire time. I think it's going to be very tough, and Jaina is having a tough time just clearing the wave. The core is going down.
Core is going down. So even if they end up getting another pick here, they're losing so much. She will defend this eventually, but there's no way to defend the temple, and Dahaka's going to dance. And that is going to be game over here. Mighty is going to take the lead. Duck calls it GG. And that is game over. Mighty takes this game into match point. So the pressure on the lanes was obviously just too much for Tempest to deal with. And the big story of their composition, including the Divine Storm, is zone control. And even when, for the most part, Mighty avoided those fights, which was smart by them. They had the global to avoid. I mean, I think this draft would have been a lot stronger if there wasn't a global.